Today we're unboxing this and going over the features. We'll also go over some testing including sound, a full load check, and also see how much this generator really weighs. First, what we need to do is get it unboxed and get it set up. And as we unbox it, you can see it comes with a manual, and it also comes with a small toolkit along with a funnel that you can see a piece of it there, and the other piece is just inside the bag. And there it is. So we're going to get this generator out of the box, and before we start it, we have to remove some brackets that are underneath. And so we'll get this out of the way, and you'll want to keep this box just in case you may have to ship it back. And so we'll go through and take a look at some of the features and some of the specs. You can see the side door on here. This is basically where you're going to put your oil in, and you have your pull start cord on that side. It also comes with a nice handle so you could wheel it around with a couple nice sized wheels, better than some that I've seen on the market. And we'll just take an overall look at the generator. And so what we're going to do is take a look at the specs. At 28.3 amps, it holds over just a little over 2 gallons of gas. And we're going to get this thing set up so we can get underway. So first thing we need to do is do the battery, and we're going to get this out so we can check our voltage. Some of these do not come fully charged, so that's why we're taking it out first. And I found that getting this battery out was rather difficult, due to the fact that the battery compartment is rather small, so I had to take off the side compartment door and basically feed it out through the back. But as you can see, this battery is already fully charged, so we don't have to put it on a charger, which is nice. And these new generators are coming in with lithium-ion batteries, which is a definite bonus. Some of them are still coming with the lead acid. So we're going to take our ground cable, hook it up to the battery. That way we can get this thing further along and get our oil in it, and then we can get on to firing it up and getting it tested. So one thing again is that I did find this thing is definitely difficult to get this battery in and out of here. It just needed a little bit more room and it would have been a lot easier. So I had to feed the cables through the back, and then basically what I had to do is, I'll show you here, is that I took these battery cables and I had to put them on the other side of the intake tube because there was just so much slack and I didn't want them hanging around that switch that's on that air box right there. And now that we get that part done, we can move on and get the oil inside the generator. And so as we'll take off that little side panel door there, you can see it comes with a drain tube, which makes your service easy. We'll take our drain plug out, and you want to check to see if there's any oil inside the generator. Mine actually has some in it. And so what it says is that you need about 530 weight oil of a synthetic, which is what I ended up getting. And I ended up putting in about 5 ounces at a time, and then I would check the level because it does say that you need about 18.3 ounces. You can see their oil capacity. But by the time I filled up the generator, I only needed 10 ounces because there was some in it. And once you get it full, you only need to get it up to the threads. Either the bottom of the threads or the top of the threads is fine. Or if you want to take the dipstick and put it in and check it like that, you can. And then you just thread it back in, basically underway. So we'll do a quick cleanup. Kind of get your drain tube back inside, and then we'll go ahead and put on the door. We'll move on to the next step. So remember those brackets that we have to remove? Well, those are the 4 right there. We're going to take that 10mm wrench that's applied, take off those nuts, take the brackets, and throw them away. We'll move on to our selector switch here, and basically you put it into the start position, press the orange button, and that starts it up. We'll go into the run position after we let it run for a little bit, and then when it goes into the auto off, it'll drain the fuel out of the carburetor and shut off within a minute or two, or use that little red manual shut off button there. You have your data meter up top. You have your 120 plugs there, a reset button up top. That one doesn't have a weather protected cap. Not really sure why. And then you can see it has a 30 RV plug on it, basically a 30 amp RV plug with a couple parallel ports up top if you want to run 2 of these together, a 12 volt socket for some of your other accessories, along with a double USB port down below with it basically running either 1 or 2.1 amps. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the weight on this generator to see how much it weighs. It doesn't have any fuel in it. It only has oil and the battery that we just put in. So again, it weighs just over, well, basically 100 pounds. So time to get this thing fueled up so we can get it fired up. So we'll put in, about a half a gallon of gas. Then we'll go ahead and put on our gas cap. And we can move this thing and get it into the start position. So we'll make sure economy mode switch is off. We'll put it into the start position, press the button, and away it goes. So after it runs there for a second or two, we'll put it into the run position, and you'll hear it surge up and down a little bit, but that'll go away in a minute and then it'll smooth right out. Then we'll go ahead and put it in economy, and then you can see just how quiet it really is. So we take a look at that data meter real quick. You can see it's putting out 60 hertz of power, and you can see our load is currently at 0. Also, the run time is currently at 0 because we just fired it up. And it'll also switch over and show us our voltage. So we'll go ahead and start off with our sound check. And right now the economy mode is off. So this is going to be when the generator is at its loudest and the exhaust is facing us. As you can see, I did this test a few times and it basically came out to about 72 dB. And so now I have it in the economy mode. You can see that helped greatly. Took it down more than 10 decibels, and this is where we want to see these generators, is in these lower 60 decibel levels. So we're also going to take it, we're going to turn the generator sideways to have that, basically the exhaust facing away from us to help it drop down a little bit lower. And now it's at a much more respectable level of just about 60 to 61 decibels, which is definitely acceptable for most of these big generators. So now we'll move on to our load test. You can see I have a meter there, and I'm going to throw that up on the screen here real quick on the lower left hand side, and we'll take a look at that as we go inside. I have a travel trailer. This is basically a 30 amp service trailer, and you can see on the left hand side that's kind of showing us how much power we're going to use. And so basically what that is right now that's being used is the converter, and that's charging up the batteries. And the battery is basically fully charged, it's just still on using a little bit of power. So we're going to take the refrigerator and we're going to turn that on AC. Basically, if you want to save propane, you can turn that on AC since the generator is running, and that's going to pull up about 2.5–3 amps. And so since it's hot outside, we'll go ahead and turn on our AC unit, and then the fan's going to turn on first and pull about 2 to 3 amps, and then the compressor is going to kick on, and then that's when you'll see the generator kind of really surge down, and it'll put out about another 11 amps of draw on it. We'll kind of see how that goes here in just a second. So the fan's on, and the compressor should kick in here in just a second, and there it goes. And as you can see on the indicator light on the generator, we're at about 50% power. Alright, so the next test, we'll go ahead and turn on this microwave because the kids are hungry and they want some food now, so go ahead and fire that up. Now you can hear the generator really running. You see the indicator lights kick up all the way, and basically the generator says we're basically at 100% power. So we'll let that run a little bit. We're going to go find a little bit more power. But first what we're going to do is, if we take a look at our volts and then we take a look at our amps, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply those and kind of see if our meter is accurate. So at 120 volts, about 27.4 amps, we're at about 3,290 watts almost. At our rated is 3,400 watts, and our amperage is at 28.3. So you can see that we're basically almost topped out of what this generator can run. But for the heck of it, we're going to run a little bit more power with this little heater. And if you guys don't have one of those little heaters in a travel trailer, those things are great. I'll put a little link in the description. But this guy draws about 3 amps after it's kind of heated up. It'll draw about 4 to start. We'll kind of look at the generator as it kind of kicks up there, just to kind of see where it shuts off. Normally they shut off about 3–4 amps above. Alright, well, and there it goes, shut down. So we'll take a quick look at the peak numbers real quick, and this is really just for reference. But if you guys didn't see something, comment down below.